Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Desktop Ball. You know what it is, the only show where I sit at my desktop and talk ball. Today is Friday, November 8th. I can add 1 to 7. And we had a very, very exciting Thursday night football game. It's NFL week. Jeez, is it NFL week 10 already, guys? It is NFL week 10. Um, we are getting through this season. It's trucking along. Remember, in July, in June, while we're yearning for football and wishing there was decent sports on TV, remember that you would kill for a Giants Panthers game in Germany at 8:30 in the morning. As awful as it feels now, from appreciate how much we love having this football to watch and how much we love having it on. Uh, Basically an instant classic. This honestly the second instant classic that the Bengals and Ravens have played in this game, in this season rather. This game was awesome. I mean, let's start with Jamar Chase. 11 catches, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. I hope for your sake you weren't against him in fantasy football this week. If you were, my condolences. If you have him, then congratulations because your week is over and you've won. Um, Lamar is continuing to play at MVP level football. If he gets out of the pocket, you're conceding 10 yards. He's either going to beat you with his legs or he's going to flip it to somebody who's past you. I mean, quarterbacks, especially Lamar, are just getting so good at that, like extend plays, still be a passing threat, but using your legs. I mean, it just causes defenses to just break. Like there's really no good solution for it. Um, and who does it better than Lamar? So he continues to play MVP level football. He's already got two. I bet he won't win the third just because maybe voter fatigue or whatever, but he probably deserves it. He has just been perfect. Joe Burrow was also perfect in this game. I mean, he was so, so good. 34 for 56, 428 yards, 4 touchdowns. Um, I mean, it did everything he needed to do to win the game. Both quarterbacks did. Um, both offenses did. And honestly, well, actually, no, both offenses didn't. And I do have some gripes with Joe Burrow. So let's start there. One, Zach Taylor, who's the Cincinnati Bengals coach, was aggressive all game long, going for it on fourth and ones, fourth and twos, fourth and threes, and I like that. I like an aggressive coach. I like trying to keep the ball. Your defense is not that good. The Ravens are going to score every time they touch the ball, so just keep on going for it. Keep on being aggressive. I don't mind that one bit. You're going to see some geeks and some losers saying that they should have played safe. I disagree. I don't think their defense is good enough to play safe. I think you have to go and score every time you touch the ball. That being said, there's a difference between aggressive and going for it on fourth and two, and on fourth and two throwing go routes. And there were two times on fourth and two and on fourth and three that they throw go routes that don't get caught. Like taking deep shots I mean, for no reason really. Um, just get the 2 yards, and even run the damn ball if you have to. Do something that makes sense. Just gain 2 yards. I love being aggressive, but the math for those aggressive plays for the go for it on fourth and twos is based on you having a play that you are confident can gain you 2 yards. And we don't need 30 yards. We don't need a touchdown on fourth and two. Just get the first down. Um, so maybe too aggressive, even for my liking, hyper aggressive, taking deep shots on fourth and two. That's not what I like to see, but I do love that they were aggressive. So I mean, it's you got to toe the line, I guess. They go for it. What are we talking about here? We go for a 2 point conversion. Basically would have sealed the game for the Bengals to win 36-35. Um, on last Monday night, which was very recent, I was saying Todd Bowles should have done this, and I'm glad the Bengals did do this. There were missed calls on the play. There was a missed face mask and a missed holding. I mean, it is what it is. Live by the sword, die by the sword. I mean, how many the refs threw like six flags on that drive, and I think the Ravens' strategy was, well, you're not going to throw a flag on every single play. Um, and they were right when it mattered. When it mattered, the refs did not throw the flags, and Bengals fall points short. Uh, again, love the aggressive call, but the first time they come out, they come out twice because they took a timeout. The first time they come out, Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase in single coverage. He's one on one. This is arguably the best wide receiver in football. Um, why not just hike it there and look for that play? And then he even had him in single coverage again on the second time and decides to go to a tight end. And maybe it was the right read. I mean, I'm not an elite reader of defenses. Joe Burrow is, so I trust him to make the right read in that play. But Jamar Chase one on one, and the night he was having, um, I would like to go with the hot hand there personally, but it is what it is. Tough loss, really, like really tough loss. The Bengals could have won that game, gotten a 5-5, and been in position. And I keep talking about how the AFC is soft. Huge game against the Chargers next week. Then you got to, I mean, Steelers is winnable, but you got to do it. Cowboys should be a win. Titans, Browns, Broncos. I mean, there's so many wins in here for the Bengals. There's enough wins that I mean, they could run the table, literally. Um, the problem is they kind of need to, because that's 11-6. Maybe 10-7 they could get in, depending on what the Broncos do. And it's nice for them. They get a head-to-head game with the Broncos, so there's that. But oh, excuse me, burping over here, and don't have a not paying an editor, so we're just rolling with the burps and the hiccups over here. All right, so that's Thursday Night Football. Do I have anything else to talk about with Thursday Night Football? I don't think so. So let's get into some pick'em. I had the Bengals plus 6.5 last night. Felt like a lock. At least to be a competitive game. Unfortunate that it ends up going the way that it does. I would have liked them to win the game and get into position, but it is what it is. Yeah, Giants are going to go beat the Panthers, and it's really unfortunate because if you look at the Giants' schedule, we've got some winnable games coming up, which is not good. Um, we've got the Panthers, we've got the Bucks with no weapons, the Cowboys with Cooper Rush probably, the Saints who are falling apart. I mean, there's some winnable games in there, right? Like in those next four, you could see us going 1-3, 2-2. I'm not saying we're gonna, win all the games, but it's definitely that stretch of the year where we win meaningless games and hurt our draft pick. So that feels terrible. Let's go to Tankathon now. Um, where are we at? Giants are picking seventh, if it happened today. So still plenty of losing to do, but I mean, teams like if you beat Carolina, that's awful for you for the draft pick, and they're going to. Um, New Orleans needs a quarterback. New England does not need a quarterback. Cleveland, Vegas. I mean, right now you're at position 5 in terms of quarterbacks behind the Saints, Carolina, Cleveland, Las Vegas. So it's not good enough. You got to keep losing if you're the Giants. I'm going to keep rooting for us to win, but I know that doing so is foolish. This is the London game. It's at 8:30 in the morning, my time, Central Time. Um, yeah, and should be interesting. Should be. I don't know. I mean, these two teams suck, and everybody else is gonna have no fun watching it, but I'll probably have some fun watching it at least. We got the Bears hosting the Patriots. I like the Bears by 6. I know that their offense has not looked good in recent weeks. If they lose this game, it's fire the coach. It's hard reset. But if they win this game, they could trick themselves into believing there's still hope. I think they know they need to win it desperately. I think 6 points is probably not enough. The Bills are 4-point favorites going to Indianapolis. I like the Bills. You'll find that on Thursday Night Football, I always take the underdog, and then I take so many favorites on Sundays. I don't know why this is. Like I just talk. It's so much easier for me to talk myself into the favorite. Um, but yeah, I like the Bills over the Colts. I think they're vastly better. 4 points, I feel like is nowhere near enough. Um, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. I think they're. I would take them by a touchdown. I'm very surprised the spread is this low. Kansas City doesn't really like to blow teams out. They're hosting Denver and they're giving 8.5 points. I think that's maybe too many points. Just because they like to win close games, but the Broncos are not like convincingly good. Let's go check out the I like to say the Chiefs don't blow teams out, but they're 8-0. So maybe let's see, have they blown anybody out? 7, 1, 5, 7, 13, 10, 7, 6. All right. That's enough for me to say I'm 8.5 points might be too many. I'll roll with Denver. I like it. Falcons going to the Saints. I've got divisional matchup. The Saints, this is a fire Dennis Allen, maybe get a bump game. Maybe the players play a little harder. I don't know. I just think the Falcons are better, and the Saints are just in the dumps. It's hard to justify taking the Saints in that game 3.5 points. I think I would need five or more. I think I would need at least five. Um, San Francisco going to Tampa Bay. 5.5 point favorite are the 49ers. This Tampa Bay team has shown an ability to score even without their weapons, but I think San Francisco is going to be too much. Christian McCaffrey's back, so that's big. I think on offense they should be vastly better than they have been to start the year because he adds so much to that team. Um, and then defensively, I don't know that Tampa Bay has faced well, I mean, they just put up 24 on the Chiefs. No, I'm gonna roll with them. I'm gonna roll with the Niners, but yeah, I mean, everybody's on Tampa Bay, 55% on Tampa Bay. I get it. They have been playing well. Eventually, somebody has to be able to figure out that they're just gonna run the ball and throw it to Kate Otten every single play, right? Like it's not like they're doing anything complex or interesting. I like San Francisco in that game. I also think they have a coaching advantage, and I think it is a massive one. Um, Washington at Washington against Pittsburgh. This is an interesting one because it feels like a game where we're gonna figure out which of these teams is real. Um, who do you trust of these two teams? How has well, here's the thing. Washington, I looked at their schedule the other day. They have been playing cupcakes, and you get credit for beating cupcakes, but um, their losses are the Ravens and Bucks. And those are good teams, so that's fine. But they beat the Giants twice. Blew out the Cardinals, which is nice. They blew out the Panthers. They escape against the Bears in a game that they should have lost. Um, I don't know if I buy this team. I don't know if I trust them. And on the flip side, I know I don't trust Russell Wilson, and I probably don't trust the Steelers. But in a game where it's a coin flip like this, and I'm not sure, give me the Steelers as an underdog. I think they're probably better. I think they're probably better, and I think their defense is going to be one of the better defenses Washington has had to face. And I think they should be able to score against that Washington defense. I think people are hyping the Washington defense a little bit. They've played nobody decent, and everybody's on the Commanders in this game. I love it. Give me the Steelers. They'll find a way to get it done. Minnesota's going to Jacksonville and only giving 4 points. That feels like an easy Vikings pick to me. I'm not a big buyer of the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially against the Vikings. Although this totally feels like that one game a year that the Jaguars would win, right? Like they always find like in the past it's been the Chargers or the Dolphins. Like they beat a really good team, and it's like whoa, like look at the Jaguars, and then you buy in on them, and they convince you they're good, and they're just bad. Um, Anyway, hopefully that just doesn't happen this week because I'm on the Vikings. I think that's a pretty safe pick, but we'll see. 86% of the people are on the Vikings. The Jaguars are totally going to win that game. I just don't have the guts to do it. And I said that when the Browns beat the Ravens. I said everybody's on the Ravens. The Browns are totally going to cover, but there's no way I have the guts to do it. I'm doing the same thing here. Just can't bring myself to pick the Jaguars against the Vikings, and the Vikings need this game bad. So at least there's that. They should be plenty motivated. Chargers Titans. I think the Chargers are going to manhandle the Titans. I think the Chargers are better than we think. I've been saying all year, Harbaugh's going to run a functional franchise, beat the teams he's better than, lose to the teams he's worse than. But I think he's better than a lot of teams, especially in the AFC. The Titans, I think, are very, very bad, and they have a good defense. So there's always like you can always hang your hat on like maybe this defense will play well, but I don't see it. I think the Chargers are just a lot better than the Titans. Speaking of teams that are a lot better than other teams, the Eagles are so much better than the Cowboys. I would be very surprised if the Cowboys covered this spread. 7.5 in Dallas. I don't know if the Cowboys have a home win yet. Let's find the Cowboys and see. 3-5, 0-3 at home. Yeah, so their losses are to the Lions, the Saints, and the Ravens at home. Those are decent teams. The Saints maybe not as much, but they were at least riding high in week two. The Cowboys are just not good. This isn't a quality win anymore. The Eagles are good. Saquon Barkley is finally going to get to go beat the Cowboys, so good for him. Um, I like the Eagles by 7.5 in this game. I like them by 10 in this game, frankly. Um, Arizona hosts the Jets. They're a 1 point favorite. I feel like this is the game where everybody buys the Jets. Let's look. 58% on the Cardinals. So no, not everybody's buying the Jets. I will. I'll buy the Jets. I'm just not that big of a Cardinals believer, really. Um, Definitely a tough team to make picks on or against. They're very unpredictable, but I think the Jets. I mean, this is just gross negligence what I'm doing picking the Jets, but I'll do it. I'll give them one more chance because I did pick them against the Texans and they did do a good job for me. So I will pick the Jets until they do me wrong, and then I will probably pick them again until they do me wrong, and then I will stop. But until then, I'm on the Jets. Uh, Detroit at Houston, 3.5, not enough points. Not enough points. The Lions are just the best team in football. 3.5 is nowhere close to enough points. Although maybe the Texans find a way to win that game and everybody's like, holy shit, the Texans are incredible. I mean I don't see it happening, but if it does happen, people are gonna buy the Texans like crazy. How about this? If you are thinking the Texans are gonna win this game, you should instead of putting your hard-earned money on them in this game, you should buy a Super Bowl future on them because the odds are going to skyrocket after this game, if you do so. So that's where I would be looking if I was a Houston buyer in this game, and I'm not. Lastly, we've got the Rams hosting the Dolphins. Totally a game I could see the Dolphins going and winning. But the Rams need it. And the Dolphins have to win out, and they're probably not going to. But the Rams like actually could win this division still. I'll roll with the Rams. So we've got one, two, three, four underdogs, and 10 favorites on the week, which is just not good. I mean, that's never a situation you want to be in where you're just that heavily leaning towards the favorites. Is there any underdog I can find and talk myself into? I could totally talk myself into the Jaguars. You know what? I'm gonna talk myself into the Jaguars, and we'll stop there. We won't do anything crazy other than that. But I just feel like the Jaguars will go and win that game. Like it's just totally, it would be so Jaguars to go and win that game. Let's say Rams are going to win 27-17 or 27-23. Detroit, I don't know, 40 probably. Probably 40 to 27. And I feel like that's maybe a little too respectful for the Texans. All right, those are my picks. We're 62-75 on the year. I mean, I think I'm like perfect on Thursday Night Football too, and just god awful when it comes to Sundays. So, uh, fade every single pick. You're likely to win money, but yeah, that's where we're at. Let's go to college. There's a few big games this weekend. Let's start with the teams that are going to handle business. Ohio State's going to handle business against Purdue. Miami's going to handle business against Georgia Tech, although it'll probably be close because it's Miami. Texas should manhandle Florida. Indiana should manhandle Michigan. Um, Clemson, I don't trust you anymore. Colorado, Texas Tech is actually a pretty big game. We'll talk about that. We'll save that for the not handling business, but actually like the big games segment. Oregon's going to handle business against Maryland. Notre Dame will handle business. Tennessee will handle business. Alabama, LSU is big. We'll get to that. Oklahoma and Missouri are both awful, so nobody cares. Penn State will handle business. Boise State will definitely handle business. Pittsburgh, I don't care. BYU, Utah, that's an interesting one. Okay, so we've got like four-ish games that are worth talking about. Let's go in reverse order of quality. So let's start with BYU, Utah. Um, this is a game that people kind of had circled at the beginning of the year for Utah. Um, theoretically being the Big 12 winner at in the end of this game. Obviously, it's the opposite. BYU's 8-0. If they can win this game, they don't really have many challenges left. Yeah, I mean, this is the best team remaining on their schedule, and it's not close. So, uh, it's a rivalry game. These schools are, a couple feet from each other, and Utah Utah in the fall, that is University of Utah in the fall. I mean, surely you remember that Utah USC game of years past. I mean, literally it's been like the past 3 years that game has been electric. When the sun is going down at the University of Utah, anything could happen. Um, but I like BYU in the game still. I think they're vastly better, but literally anything can happen at night at the University of Utah. Those teams are always fun. Those games are always crazy. Colorado is a 4-point favorite in Lubbock against Texas Tech. Two teams trending in the right direction. And the Big 12 standings are interesting. I mean, since we just did Utah and BYU, let's go to the standings. Oh, they're on the right here. Perfect. BYU is 5-0. Iowa State and Colorado only have one loss. If Texas Tech can win this week, Colorado's got two losses, and all they need is Iowa State to slip up one time, and they'll have the tiebreaker head to head over them. So there is a path for Texas Tech, I believe, to make a Big 12 championship. All they can do is just keep winning. Um, and I'm not sure who they have left. Let's see. They've got Oak State and West Virginia. I mean, those are two probable wins. So maybe Texas Tech can find a way to sneak in. I know we've got a few Texas Tech listening fans of the pod, so I could see it. I think there's an avenue. Am I convinced they're going to win this game? Not quite, but it should be a good time. You know, it's Deion Sanders talking to his kids about Lubbock. They're going to throw tortillas at you, all that sort of stuff. It's going to be interesting. Massive game, must-win game, elimination game, really. I mean, loser of that game is out of the college football playoff. And Texas Tech probably has no chance anyway, but if Colorado loses, they're definitely out. So, yeah, I mean, elimination game. And one of the teams might already be eliminated, maybe, depending on how things go. Alabama at LSU. Alabama's a 2.5-point favorite. It's Death Valley at night. LSU does not lose often in Death Valley at night, so Alabama's a 2.5-point favorite should tell you something. Here's what it tells me. I saw what Marcel Reed from Texas A&M, the backup quarterback, did to LSU. I saw what Norris Sellers, the quarterback at South Carolina, did to LSU. LSU has no plan for stopping running quarterbacks. And Alabama just so happens to have the best running quarterback in college football. I don't I'm not convinced that LSU is going to be able to stop Alabama all night. Um, I think Alabama is the better team. I don't really buy either team, and it's an elimination game. Loser is effectively out of the college football playoff. Winner is you can pencil them in, and make sure your pencil has an eraser, but pencil them in. I mean, if Alabama wins this game, they've got Mercer, OU, and Auburn. They're not going to lose those games. I mean, they might. They could lose to anyone. It's this Alabama defense, but you win LSU, you're in most likely, and it's a playoff game. I mean, people were upset that with the 12-team playoff that the regular season wouldn't matter. Well, in some cases, you're right. Last week, Ohio State, Penn State, it's not an elimination game. Penn State's still going to make it. Ohio State's still going to make it. I get that. And maybe it takes a little bit of the luster out of those games, but geez, struggling over here, guys. I'm terribly sorry. Alabama LSU is an elimination game. It's a playoff game, and that's fun. I mean, there are like 20-ish teams who still believe they could make the college football playoff if they run the table, and I think that's really fun. And this game should be electric. It's I would say the best atmosphere in college football at LSU at night. It's at least like top three with, maybe Penn State whiteout, Kyle Field, something like that. Big house, shoe. But yeah, I mean, I like Alabama in this game. I think they're going to go and win it. I think LSU's a little overrated. And I'm just not convinced. Similarly, Georgia is a 2.5 point favorite going to Ole Miss, and this is going to sound real similar for Ole Miss. This is a playoff game. You lose this game, you're out. You win this game, you could probably pencil yourself in because all you play is Florida and Mississippi State after this. So, oops, I broke it. Hang on, let's go get it back. So yeah, I mean, you win this game if you're Ole Miss, you can pencil yourself in. Georgia is what's the record? Like 52 and 0 in their last games that are not named Alabama. They play well in big games. They continue to roll good teams. Um, I am not convinced with Ole Miss. A lot of people are picking them in this game. I just don't get it. Like I don't see it. I think Georgia is just vastly better. Um, the pass rush is so good. The run game has come alive. And it's Georgia. I mean, they win this type of game. That's what Georgia does. And on the opposite side, Ole Miss loses this type of game. It's what they've done with Lane Kiffin. They've been overhyped and good and a sexy, fun pick, but they're not like great. They have yet to be great under Lane Kiffin, and this was supposed to be the year. I mean, this win would be massive for the program. It would be massive for Lane. I mean, y'all understand the gravity of what a win against Georgia would do for this team. Probably jump them into the college football playoff, but unfortunately for them, it's not going to happen. At least in my opinion. I think Georgia is just too good, and that's with Carson Beck has thrown like 11 picks in the past 5 games. I mean, it would take a pretty bad Carson Beck game and a really, really good Ole Miss, like ceiling level Jackson Dart game. And it could happen, but Georgia in past years has risen to the occasion against teams not named Alabama. I like the Bulldogs. I believe in the Bulldogs. Give me Georgia. Other than that, there's not a ton to talk about college football wise. I feel like we've effectively covered everything. I actually never covered the World Series because I was away when the World Series ended. The Dodgers won the World Series. Way to stay relevant, baseball, and good timing by me. College basketball still in full swing. There's really nothing to talk about since our Monday show we had on Tuesday. Not a single ranked team play. Wednesday, good teams handling business against bad teams. Thursday, one ranked team plays. But Friday night we've got a preview. There's a few big games. No, there's not. There's one big game. It's North Carolina at Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. Gonna be a massive one. I'm in the UNC Polo here. I mean, Kansas is better. Kansas is likely to win this game. North Carolina will have the best player in the court in RJ Davis. Kansas will probably have player 2 through 6. Hunter Dickinson is still there. KJ Adams is still there. DeJuan Harris is still there. Those guys are all 46 years old. They're going to die in Kansas uniforms because they're not NBA talent. But I mean, they are a really good college basketball team. It's Bill Self. It's Allen Fieldhouse. It is a tough environment. I do not expect North Carolina to win that game. If they do, I'm going to say some very bullish things about North Carolina. However, I fully expect to lose that game by 10 plus. So we'll see. But definitely going to have it on. Definitely excited to see, sort of just where we stack up, where both of those teams stack up. It's going to be interesting. Uh, let's see. Anything this weekend? Baylor, Arkansas is big. Baylor obviously desperate for a bounce back after Gonzaga beat them by 40. And Arkansas, Coach Cal, time to go get a big win. Uh, and then Auburn at Houston. That's another big one. So pretty good weekend for college basketball if you're a college basketball fan. Tennessee, Louisville, people are crowning Louisville. Louisville's got a new head coach. I'm terribly sorry. I don't know his name. I should. I should know his name. Pat Kelsey. Yeah. All right. Pat Kelsey. at Louisville. Hopefully going to right the ship. Louisville, obviously a basketball school, been a basketball school my whole life, but has been god awful in recent years. So hopefully they will find a way to turn it around. Against Tennessee in the regular season, I don't like it. If it was the tournament, I'd love Louisville against Tennessee, but it's still the regular season, so Rick Barnes is gonna put a good product forward. Auburn, Houston, man, that's a good game too. That's a good game. Baylor, Arkansas should be a great weekend of college basketball. Nothing really on Sunday, and then Monday we'll do a recap of these games if there's anything interesting. No, nothing really. So really, it's Kansas UNC on Friday, and then we've got Saturday. We've got Baylor at Arkansas, Auburn at Houston. So should be a couple good college basketball games. But if you're not like a total college basketball junkie, then there's no rush. Plenty of time. There's still football on TV. You do not have to worry about it yet. I just happen to be a sicko who cares about college basketball a lot. So thank you all very much for watching. Don't have a ton else left to say. If you would be so kind as to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts, share with a friend, find me on TikTok. Yeah, I mean, however you feel comfortable interacting with the show, I appreciate it very much. And I will see all of your lovely faces on. Oh, tomorrow is Friday. I will see all your lovely faces on Tuesday when I do my recap show. I mean, what the hell are we doing here? My brain is fried. Thank you all for watching. Interact with the show and however you feel comfortable. See you on Tuesday. Goodbye.